Hey everybody, Michelle is here. Just wanted to do some rambling on this Thursday since everything is basically done for the most part on my behalf. But I wanted to, something came to mind because I was watching something on YouTube about catfishing, and that brought me back to when I decided to come back to this part of the world, after things happened with my condo. And I talked enough about that, where I had to come back to this area. It wasn't my choice per se, but it was just a series of events that brought me here. And what I usually do is I always like to have things planned out in a way, meaning that I like to know that I can meet up with people in certain places that I want to go. Because that way I'll feel comfortable about going in those certain regions. Even if I lived there before, I always like to know that there's somebody going to be there that I can meet up with, and then they can show me around and give me some ideas about what to expect in those areas. Since I hadn't, But anyway, so that's what I did when I realized that I had to come back to this area. When I was in the former area, I started reaching out to people, trying to hook up with people. And a lot of them had either moved on or they weren't available. I couldn't find information about them. And so I used apps just like everybody else. This was back in 2009 or 2010. I can't remember. To meet people, like business mind, like-mindedness. Okay. And then I thought I had met someone that was like-minded in a business sense that could help me once I get back to this city, and they could help me kind of navigate around again and get re-familiar with it. And it was so weird because of the way the conversation was going. It wasn't clear conversation really. And I couldn't understand that, but I was so busy and being so concerned about getting here. And I always wanted to have things lined up instead of having things aligned. And that's a difference. Because when you want, in other words, to have things lined up, meaning that you have kind of put some effort into it. But alignment is something that's open up for you, in my opinion, that is like a destiny. That's my opinion. In other words, I don't really need to be putting too much effort into it. I just need to make sure I'm following the path to it properly. But when you are attempting to line stuff up, you're kind of like interfering. Does that make sense? I hope. And so that's what I was doing. I was attempting to line up stuff. In other words, I was putting a little bit more, I was interfering, basically. I was interfering, and I was attempting to control a certain. See, there's a difference with controlling the narrative. That means that you're being clear and effective. These are my opinions and theories, by the way. Okay, there's a difference when you are attempting to control the narrative. That means you just want to make sure you are heading in the right path. Okay, that's aligned for you. All right, cool. Now, when you are attempting to line up, that's where people use zodiac signs. I'm telling you, that's what I mean. When people say, well, this person is a blah, blah, blah. So we line up. We line up perfectly. I mean, according to, what they say about the zodiac sign. All right, so there shouldn't be no issues right there, right? this person is around the age I'm looking for. This person is of the background I'm looking for. Blah 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 blah. Okay. So that's what I was doing. I was just like attempting to line up people. In other words, control people instead of controlling the narrative and controlling me. I was attempting to control others. Okay, when I'm attempting to line up instead of being aligned. All right, so this is going to make sense in a minute. So that's what was happening. That's what apps are. When you use apps, in my opinion, you are being coercive and not allowing stuff to be based on your energy of alignment. Okay, and when you use apps, you rely on zodiac signs. Okay, you rely on zodiac signs. You have all these parameters of things that you want, and you're going to do everything in your power to be extreme about it and say, no, this person is a blah blah blah. We line up, but you dismiss everybody else. Nope, I don't want to talk to no Gemini. A lot of people have a problem with Geminis. I'm just being comical. A lot of people have problems with Sagittarius. But anyway, so we want to just forcefully line up with a certain group of people, whether we are aligned with them or not. Okay, that's what apps do. These dating apps. That's why I don't use them. I had to figure this out on my own. After various failures of it. So that's what I was doing. Because sometimes we think we need to be that's so involved in our journey instead of just following the path. We get so extreme and think, oh no, we need to control everything. I'm not saying, like I said, that controlling the narrative is a little bit less. That means that you are making sure that that it's coming from your mouth, that's what you mean, that's what your intentions were. That's what I'm saying about controlling the narrative. What I'm putting out is what I've said, and blah blah blah. Now, when you attempt to involve yourself so much in how your life is supposed to go, that's where we get extreme. Okay, that's what I mean. So in other words, you said, no, I want to focus on that type of, so you get a little bit too attached. And it's usually materialistically, of course. We want a certain look, we want a certain height, we want this, we want that, And so, but zodiac signs are the main thing that we lose our alignment because of. Because no, I'm not dating no Gemini. Oh no, I'm not dating no Sagittarius. Nope. We say all that stuff. And I told you, I got involved with somebody that we were supposed to be perfect together, and we were not. Okay, we were not at all. But anyway, so, and then these certain signs that people say, well, God, this is the best sign to go out with. The best zodiac sign, and I've gone out with those, and no, it isn't for me. Okay, it wasn't. It was almost it was a disaster. How about that? So we used to, but I'm telling you, when I went in 2005, I was going to head somewhere. A storm was coming, so I decided to go to another place instead. A storm came that way too. I didn't avoid the storm, but that was not planned, and it was actually fantastic. That's where I ended up, in that city. I told you it was the South Florida area, and I could see how people fell in love with it. I had no idea that I would end there. No idea at all. So that was a good journey for me. It was uncertain, but I knew that I would be okay because I know I got the skills and abilities to get a job and do anything. That's why I say you need to know how to do something. You need to have some type of skills and abilities to be employable, right? So So that's where I ended up there, and that was I had the time of my life there until I had to come back to this city. And like I said, when I came, I had no plans at all, and ended up in that city. And so when I had to come back to this city, I was forcing things to be in alignment. So I said, no, let me get a set of people met up so I can meet them and blah blah blah. So I was too involved, if that makes sense. I was too involved in not allowing things to just happen naturally, So that's how I got myself mixed up with, a sociopath. Well, I mean, these people that call themselves catfishing people. And let me tell you about catfishing. It's usually a group of people doing it. And that was a new trend back then. I think it was like 2010-ish, 2010. I think so. I have to look back on my on my documents. I think I had documents. And so because I was vulnerable and just thinking about, okay, I got to get back to this city. And then on top of that, I had a job lined up already. So there was some tension there because, I'm coming from one job to another. I had no break really in between to think about. It was a lateral move in the same type of field. So I was confident there, so I knew I would have a job. So in other words, I was vulnerable. And I got myself caught up in that web of the catfishing. But I'm glad I had that experience because it all made sense that why it was suspicious. Because like I said, it was the way the conversation was going. All right, this was actually before the video. There was no video involved. It was more so on the phone. These people will put up profiles about who they say they are. You like the profile, you like the picture, then you contact the person, and then you either made a date to meet them, or you just decided to talk on the phone. That's what I did. So I was talking on the phone with this person, which was it's a group. So it was a group of people, and this is before. And so as I was leaving that city to come back here, that's what, I started having a conversation back and forth. And then I said, well, once I get in the city, we're going to hook up and da-da-da-da-da. It's supposed to be a business arrangement where they were supposed to show me the ropes and help me get refamiliarized with the city and blah, blah, blah. And so as it turns out, as soon as I got back to this city, I was in my residence, the condo. And then so I reached out to this person again and said, hey, let's hook up so we can blah, 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 blah. And that person kept making excuses. Like, what? Because they kept saying, yeah, once you get in the city, make sure you call me. Yeah, blah, blah. They kept saying that. Well, once I get to the city, I call them and boom, I couldn't get, it wasn't going to happen. And I didn't understand what was the issue, really. I really didn't understand what the issue was. Why can't we hook up? But like I said, I started to feel a little bit of anxiety, being overwhelmed. I don't know what it was because, look, I had to start this job in, I guess, it was either a few days or a week. And I just wanted to have a little bit fun and meet up with somebody before I had to go back into that, go back into a job real quick. So that was the mistake that I made. And I'm glad, I'm glad I'm making that I made those mistakes because it made me aware of, okay. Luckily, I lost nothing with that catfish person. I didn't understand the purpose of catfishing me because they really got nothing from me but honesty. I was just being honest and genuine. And so I think I said it in one of the videos. I figured out who it was. It was a person that worked at the former job I left. Okay, they don't know I know, but I put two and two together and I figured it out. And like I said, it was a group of them. But anyway, I can laugh about it now. Back then, when it happened, I was like confused, but then I got concerned about other things. I had other things to be concerned about. But and I'm thinking now, like, where is the benefit of someone doing that to people? And I think with when the video came in, FaceTime and all these other devices of how you can face-to-face people, that's when I think the catfishing kind of, it wasn't so toxic as it turned out to be. But what started happening though is when the FaceTime came up. So I stopped with it because then something else happened after that. I met a sociopath, psychopath, and I'm not gonna go into that right here. That's not the point of it. But anyway, so 2010 is when I cut all that off because I felt some uneasiness about it. I'm like, wow. And so that's why you do have to keep up with the technology. You do, and understand, So like I said, I only talked to this person on the phone. I just saw pictures, and I assumed them pictures belonged to them, but it turned out it did not. So I think that's when people started recognizing, okay, let's do the FaceTime. And the FaceTime kind of minimized the catfishing, is my point. But now with this advanced technology of, androids, avatars, because I told you I had an avatar made and everything. It was my face. And what I did was program it. You could tell by it wasn't my mouth, but back then it was a new technology. That's why you need to be individual in how you talk, and so that it'll be hard to convince people that it's not you. You need to have certain things that you do with your mouth, your words, and stuff like that. So it'll make it hard for you to be. What's the word? Deep fake, but it could happen. Deep fake could still happen if people don't necessarily know you. But I think my family members and people that are close to me will know. Okay, that's not Michelle. But but I'm not going to be confident to say that won't happen. I'm not going to be confident to say that my image can be hijacked, as they call it, and used to be a manipulative tool. Because that's delusional if I believe that, because it's a belief. But anyway, so now deepfake is, and then around that time, deepfake started taking over. Apparently, like I said, I had an avatar. I remember creating an avatar, and I forgot all about it actually. So who knows what happened to that video of me as an avatar. And like I said, all I had to do is type in stuff and program it to say stuff that I didn't have to say, but it was just repeating what I typed in, and it would voice it. And did it sound like me? I can't remember. I don't think it was. I think it was like a computer generated. I don't know. So my point is, you do have to keep up with technology. Okay, regardless of how intelligent and smart you think you are, you can still be manipulated, is my point. You can still be manipulated, you can still be deceived, you can still be taken advantage of. You can get your heart broken. A lot of people have gotten their heart broken, with all this technology, because of the advancing of the technology. And a lot of people have lost financially, have lost, and so a lot of it is just a waste of time. And it's cost, like I said, it costs the sever of interpersonal relationships where nobody trusts anyone. And there's reason to not trust people. Because, for people to take you through that. And I still don't know what the benefit is if you're not taking anything, if you're not getting anything financially from it. So that says something about the personality that would engage in that kind of behavior. Because the person I found out who was like the ringleader of it all, that person was invisible to me. And that's not I wasn't intentionally not seeing that person. It's just they were just invisible to me. Okay, and maybe this person was attempting to get my attention when we were working together, and I was that way, where if I was focused on something else, I was focused on something else, and I used to just disregard people all the time. Okay, and I had to learn to work on that. I work on myself all the time. Work on being considerate of other people's, whether it's their feelings, their emotions. You have to be. I learned I had to be considerate of others, and not just dismiss people. And because and not wanting to be bothered. I just you can not want to be bothered, but then you can still be kind and gentle with people as well. You don't have to be. I was like, okay, all right, enough of that. I was doing that, being dismissive towards people, and not considering other people's feelings. Even though I had to understand that, because I had a problem with understanding people's feelings and emotions. Because I just, like I said, I don't necessarily get myself all worked up like that, where I'm in my feelings and emotions. Okay, but I learned to neutralize myself and accept that, and make sure I'm actively listening and paying attention, and I do. I mean, I've grown leaps and bounds, and like I said, experience will do that. Okay, experience is the great teacher. I don't, So I'm not sure what people are doing now. I know they use the deep fakes. I know that. I know that. And then I know that there are certain ways that people manipulate each other, and I think deep fake was the most is the most successful now. Because you don't know. So I feel for the celebrities. Like I said, I love me some celebrities, but I don't I don't ride their asses and worship them like a lot of people do. I have a lot of respect for them. Okay, I really do. I have a lot of respect for celebrities or people that get a lot of attention. I have a lot of respect for you because I know how easily you can get yourself wrapped up in a whole lot of bullshit. And they just and things start unraveling, and this is what we have now. The interpersonal relationships are severed, and some may be irreplaceable, irreparable. I mean, it's just like, and so that's why we have a lot of issues with interpersonal relationships. And I know a lot of people want genuine intimacy, and all I'm saying, I'm just being real honest, is that you have to do it the old-fashioned way. You have to earn it. Okay, like what I said with my dad. I'm thankful of the model of my parents and how they let it happen. Like I said, my dad just happened to see my mom one day getting on the school bus. And took notice to that. Okay, so that was an alignment right there. Okay, their zodiac signs don't align on paper, but they ended up being married over 50 years. Okay, so we do need to elevate our consciousness, and we do need to elevate our thoughts. We need to elevate our energy, our vibration, and just not look for the easy way out of everything. It's not easy to align with somebody. That's not easy. Because everything has to be in alignment. Like I said, the stars, the moon, and the mountains has to be in alignment, so that you need to be clear and effective in your reality, and make sure you're not delusional, so that you don't miss it. All right, and so that's what I'm operating off of. Now, whether it's successful or not is irrelevant. Whether it works or not is irrelevant. Just know that it exists. Okay, and if things are not working, it has a reason not to be. We have a disturbance on the planet, I told you. We have a disturbance in how we allowed our interpersonal relationships to sever as they have. But some people were lucky enough to get in there and align with the right people, align with the right partner, like my parents, you know. So, and then with me, you know, I had divisions of things, and I blah 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 blah, and I talked enough about that. So the point of the matter is, sometimes you just got, you know, like I said, you can hold on to will and control the narrative, but you don't need to be being so forceful with it. Always, you know, wanting to control it, and always wanting certainty, and always wanting things to go as planned, and always in it and interfering, instead of just stepping back and say, okay, I put it out what I want. I put out what I saw. I put out, you know, like I said, and then when you consider your reality, you know, and you're asking the questions, okay, am I delusional right now? And things, and so I'm so thankful. As I said, in my 20s, I got validated. And when I saw, and then even earlier than that, in the amusement park, saw someone there, got validation as well. So validation does matter. To have someone either see you or hear you or feel you, sense and receive you, you know, and make it known that you know, like I said, being crazy now, I mean, that's a compliment, actually, considering everything else going on in the planet, on the planet, in the planet, however. And a lot of people are going to be left behind. And what does that mean? Left behind in their consciousness, to where they are just going to be in a state of delusion forever. In other words, just spinning, 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 and going nowhere. And then eventually, you know, I told you what can happen and what possibly may happen. In other words, you're just in a state of deja vu, deja vu, deja vu. You know, you're not elevating. You're just right there. You know, you're stagnated. You're not elevating, and, you know, and neutralizing and raising yourself up and thinking differently. You know, you're not, you know, it's not that you know, it's not that you can't have fantasies, but you're not living in a fantasy. It's not that you can't have imaginations, but you can't be living in an imagination. You have to be in a reality, you know, you have to know your perception of reality. Are you grounded? Where are you standing? Where are you sitting? What do I hear, feel, you know, forever. So I thought I'd share that about the catfishing, because I saw that on YouTube, and I was shocked that was still going on. And I was surprised with the people that usually are involved in it. The problem is they didn't trust their instinct. And they admitted it, and not realize they were being sucked in, because they were getting red flags. And all of them said that. Oh, I was getting the red flags because this person did not want to FaceTime. They didn't want to talk video to, you know, FaceTime each other. All this person wanted to do is talk on the phone. Now that's a red flag, isn't it? When we got all this video technology, why would you want to keep talking on the phone? Or this person didn't want to meet up. Okay, well, why don't you want to meet up? You know, you're in the same city supposedly, right? Why don't you want to meet up? So those kind of things, those are just like red flags and stuff like that. So just be gentle, because a lot of us are going to be uncovering a whole lot of bullshit. I already sensed that and received that. There's going to be a lot of uncovering of stuff that was buried for years in people's, either is buried in their subconscious, and now everything in your subconscious is attempting to tap you and say, look, you need to resolve this. Or your subconscious is attempting to, you know, awaken you, even though a lot of people want you to sleep and unconscious. All right? And trying to say, look, you know, you need to resolve this. And, you know, we can't be, you know, under the delusion that things are going to just take care of itself, you know. You still need to be aware of it and ask yourself, okay, how can I resolve this? Okay, why am I keep making the same mistakes over and over and over and over and over again? So anyway, I thought I'd share that experience and let you know that anything can happen to all of us. I don't care how advanced you are in your consciousness. You could still be made a fool of. So that's why you can't take yourself so seriously and think you know exactly what the plan is. No, your plan, you have a path, okay? And that path means that somebody might be blocking your path, okay? You might need to take a detour, okay? It doesn't say that the path is perfect, by any stretch of your imagination, or that you may need to twerk it at some point, but still keep moving forward though. You may have to move something out of the way. You may have to move people out of the way. You might have to refine how you're thinking. Okay? And then enjoy the moment as well. Okay? All right, so I want to send peace and love, and I hope that this, offers some comfort to someone. If not, hey, swipe me, baby, swipe me. But anyway, peace and love, and trust me, I'll be back.